So what value of t makes the following equation true? So we are going to just write down the problem. And then it's going to just be a normal algebra problem. So they're adding 3 1/8. So I'm going to subtract 3 1/8. And anything I do to one side, I do to the other. I have a -3/4 and a -3 1/8. So my answer is definitely going to be negative. And then I need to find a common denominator. So I do this. 6. Okay. So this is, it looks like it's a subtraction problem, but because I have two negatives, I have a -3/4 and I have a -3 1/8, I'm actually going to get rid of these for right now so I don't get confused. I already know that my answer is negative because if I add a negative with a negative, I get a negative. So I am going to add these together. 6 plus 1 is 7/8. And then I have 3 here. So it is -3 7/8. And then I cancel this part out. What's left on this side is t. All right, my next one looks pretty crazy. So it's going to be 5 to the 3rd power, 3 to the 2nd power, 2 to the 4th power, over 5 to the 2nd power, 3 to the 3rd power, 2 to the 4th power. So because I'm dividing this, that's what this means. You basically, this is a good way to, as you're starting out, just write it all out like this so that you're very clear about what you're getting rid of and what you're keeping. So because they're dividing it, that means they're canceling out. So every time I cross a 5 out here, I cross it out here. When I run out of 5s, I just circle it. So I don't have a 5 down here, so this stays. Now I'm going to deal with the 3s. If I cross one out here, I cross one out here until I run out. I'm going to circle this one, and then I'm going to cross this out, and what I'm left with is 2 2s. Now I rewrite whatever it is that I have left as my top number. So I have 5 times 2 times 2 over what's left on the bottom is just a 3. So now I check to make sure I can't simplify anymore. There's no other matches, but I can combine these two. So I'm going to do 5 times 2 to the 2nd power over 3. Okay, now to simplify it even further, I'm going to combine the terms. So I'm going to say 5 times 2 times 2 is 20 over 3. Okay, my next one is, I'm going to simplify. I have 4r to the 4th power over s to the 6th power, and then 2 4r times s. Okay, so I'm actually going to break this up into a 2 and a 2 as my number. Does that make sense to you? Because this, I'm going to cancel one of these out and one of them is going to stay. And then I'm going to rewrite this 2, 2, 2, because there's 4 of them. And then I have 4 R's here. And I have 1 R here. So one of these is going to get crossed out. And then I have 6 S's up here. And on this one, I have 3 S's. So I'm going to cancel out 3. And what I'm left with here is 2 R to the third times S to the third, and 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4 times 2, 8 times nothing's left. So that's all that's left here. But I actually see that I actually made a mistake. This 2 doesn't belong here. I see that I can make this into a 1/4. Does that make sense to you? I made a mistake, 2/8. Okay, so what I'm left with is 1 R to the third power S to the third power over 4. And that is as small as I can make it.